And hello! Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I'm James Howell, and starting a little bit late tonight. Apologies for that. It's unfortunately not as uncommon an occurrence as would be ideal. 1 second here. I am pulling up the stream right now. Good, there we go. Anyway, hi, welcome to the Deltahead podcast. I'm James Howell. This is a stream that we're gonna, this is part of the, pull this a little closer here, the B ranked Silent Hills for, last time we played, sorry, it's been a rush getting everything in here set up, ready to go, so I'm still kind of collecting myself. It's always a mad scramble to get everything all in order. There. So, cool. I'm just checking the video here to make sure that everything is lined up. Basically, as long as there is at least something resembling a parallel line between the bottom of the video, suspender, and top, then that's kind of 3 points to triangulate. I don't know if there's no triangle involved, but anyway, hi. Let me turn this over. So, welcome to the browser system configuration minigame of Silent Hill Origins. Let me make sure the output on this is set to, this is not where to go. Make sure the output is set to component out. And actually, I think I've got an old save file of Origins on here. It's Dead Aim, Shadow of Destiny. Wow. How long ago did I play that? Back in 99. That doesn't seem right. Kingsfield, 2000. Okay, yeah, the dates on these are wrong. What's on here? Oh, there is no data. Kind of don't believe that. I'm thinking that might be a broken memory card. There we go. Yeah, okay, that's good. And that's right. Awesome. Nope, down you go, my friend. Oh, let's drop that so we don't have an excessive echo. Okay, so yeah, Silent Hill Origins was actually ported over to the PS2 from a PSP game, and so naturally, if it's originally PSP, that means that it was designed for a widescreen. So the game has widescreen capability already built into it, and this is one of the few PS2 games that when you start it up, you can actually choose whether to run it in 4:3 or 16:9, which we're going to do in 16:9 because it's a Twitch format, and that's nice. This is also a very strange thing because usually you only see this language selection option in PAL territory releases. But this was a US NTSC release. Here we go. Yes, thank you. Old Konami. You can also, I think it's also interesting, you can just see how, I'm gonna clean these on. You can also see just in the quality of the textures that they haven't really been optimized, I think, for a screen this size. So everything's a little bit blurry, things a little bit chunkier, in that way that PSP games kind of have that, the number of polygons you might get from somewhere in between PS1 and PS2 with the textures you'll get on a PS2. That sort of aesthetic is what you're seeing here. So it's a strange thing. Okay. You know what? Give me 1 second. Okay. Now, I can see again. Soon I'm going to be breaking out a lot more of these wipes because I'm going to be cleaning off the PSVR's headset because great game Iron Man VR is coming out on Friday, and I encourage everybody with a VR headset to buy and play and enjoy. Let's see. That does it. Good. So, because this game is kind of a, wouldn't normally do this, but because this game is kind of a artifact, being a PSP to PS2 port, there are some features here that are non-standard for PS2 games of this state in development of the PS2. Like there are these tips at the outset, and again, it's just very clear that this is designed for widescreen, and you just don't have that many PS2 games that are doing that. And just as a feature choice, having the having gameplay tips just sort of out of the blue in the start menu is a very strange, unusual choice. I'm really curious to see if excuse me, if this is something that's available during the game. Yeah, one of the features of this game is so you're playing as Travis. He is a trucker. He wanders into town at the start of the ritual that is that Dahlia is using to cultivate, I don't know, the rage or the passion of Alessa to get her to unleash her full power, which means burning her alive. Yay, Silent Hill cult. And Travis wanders in and is kind of a hapless, at first, a hapless, bystander involved in these goings-ons, but then, it's revealed he's got a little bit more going on. So, hey Viper, it's good to see you. Just kind of looking at what this weird PSP to PS2 game has up front. I think that the text that we're seeing here, is upscaled to display on a TV. I think it's actually crisper and clearer on the PSP screen when you enlarge it to this size. It's kind of like a Monet, right? The little artifacts. Well, on Monet, they're not artifacts, they're dots, but whatever. Those form a coherent image, but in this, the artifacts become more evident. PS2 release of this, I think it's an okay game. I enjoyed it on the PSP. One of the things, besides the convenience of being able to play it on a larger screen that I like, is the fact that, when a game gets tense, you kind of, when you have a handheld console, right? You find out what your manual habits are when a game starts to get tense, because when you grip a controller and you're kind of, wheedling it and kind of grinding it like a rag that you're trying to wring the last drop out of, the controller can take that, right? But when you have like a PSP, there's like hundreds of dollars of technology in your hand for the time, and you feel yourself kind of pressing and grinding into it, you're aware that like the actual machine is in there, and you're gonna break your system. So yeah, I appreciate this being available on a console. Actually, the reason why I got another reason why I got this, so I have this on PSP, and I wanted to show it to a friend, but a PSP game, you can't really do that. And they also, I believe the PSP's dev versions, I think, had video audio out, but the standard ones don't. I think it's certainly an oversight. Um, and so yeah, you know, being able to play it on a screen, you can share it better. So, new game, Silent Hill Origins. And there's our Flaros.
Who'd I just pass there? That you, good buddy? Treetop tall and wall to wall. Travis, you messed up son of a bitch.
that is not what you want to be hauling into Silent Hill.
Stop up for coffee as soon as I hit Brahms. I'm beat. Bad dreams still keeping you awake. I told you, man, a girl or two would go a long way. Sleep like a baby with a chicken, your cat. Guess I just don't meet the right girls, bud. Maybe if you weren't always blabbering about losing your parents.
I think our character B in that conversation was just about to give us an exposition dump about Travis's tragic background, but
You mean she hasn't left you yet? See you around, Travis.
I actually find that the dialogue on that fairly charming. I think that's good. Really? They have component out. That is so strange. I mean, that would be such a welcome feature. You know, I'm thinking... Well, hold on. Let's watch Travis's suffering memories emerge. Oh, careful now. Oh no. You know, going back to the start of Silent Hill 1, the start of Resident Evil 2 with the trucker coming into town, and here, I'm wondering how many games start with somebody driving a car that don't end that trip with them either hitting somebody or nearly hitting somebody. I think this was also, this was well after the movie, so similar to the last stream that we had, the Silent Hill Homecoming stream, where it was observed that they are taking many cues from the movies and using the same sort of normal world to other world transition of the flakes. Such a big difference between FMV and in-game models. The flakes coming off, that sort of transition. They're also borrowing more of the Alessa aesthetic from the movies here than I think were in the original game, Silent Hill 1 series. Though it is interesting, there's a stop sign there, and I don't think this is a crossroad. Okay. I feel like the grain that they have on the screen, the visual effects, is actually finer than the grain that they had on for Silent Hill Homecoming. Viper, I agree. I think Origins is a solid experience, as I recall. I was reading an interview. The guy who was a narrative lead on this, I don't remember in what capacity, but that's an interesting choice to shift the screen camera there. He was kind of brought onto the development way through. The game wasn't really faring well. Oh, there we go. And he and his team didn't want it to be, you know, just one of the bad Silent Hills, right? And So they worked hard to give it a story that that sort of elevated it to the stature of the rest of the games. And I think they did a fine job of salvaging what sounds like was a Silent Hill by numbers game. And you know, you can't completely erase that, especially if the game is like midway through development, which is what it sounds like it was. But you can sort of drive that. And this is a good track to open on. You know, good choice to keep Akira Yamaoka on for music. I am appreciating the art here. I agree. The character designs do have a more game-like feel. Now, something that's interesting, the camera control, because on the PSP, as a matter of fact, here, this is fortunate. We can actually look at the different control schemes here. So, I have my PSP out here. I was revisiting the Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel, that weird little artifact, on this lately, and so I just happen to have it around. So, for those who never played the original PSP, you know, the PS2 controller has two shoulder buttons. The PSP only has these. There is an analog stick here, and there is a D-pad, and there are the four face buttons. But one of the things that is missing is a second analog stick, which is typically in adventure games like this used to control the camera. Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops kind of had to do the same trick, where you click this and it orients your camera in the direction that your character's facing. So you're going to see a lot of snapping in this as I am adjusting the camera to face whatever direction Travis is. That's because there's no, again, it's a direct port, so they're using the control scheme that's available on this limited handheld. So yeah, that is one of the neat things about this port. I think looking at port differences is neat and fascinating. And I'm fine being one of 3 people in the room. One of 4 people in the room with that interest. Another thing, something that is also interesting about the controls, yeah, look, see? Nothing. Something that is interesting, I don't know if this has to do with maybe some of the pressure sensitivity on the PSP's square button, but if you're moving around, here I can show you here, if you're moving around, I know there's a little bit of a gap between what I do and what you see on screen, but this actually is a real gap. You move forward and you press square, there's like there's a whole 1 second delay between the time that Travis starts moving, between the time that Travis is walking and then starts running. Let's see if we can do that again. So, yeah, again, I'm left wondering if that is an artifact of the, excuse me, of the port. 2-hour parking in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. I'm curious, how bright is the screen? I wonder if you guys are seeing this as brightly as I am. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like I can... Oh, right, of course. Why would I be able to adjust the brightness in-game? Because the PSP adjusts the brightness through hardware. Interesting. Okay. Well, here we go. Into Silent Hill.
Not fog. It's smoke. My God.
Okay, thanks, Viper. I appreciate that feedback. That is a smarmy looking Dahlia. It does seem, it seems fairly reckless to go through a burning house and just try to randomly open doors. Um, I have seen Backdraft, and I know how that turns out. Feels like discrete items are on fire without the connecting flames that I would expect.
You're coming with me.
I wonder, I really wonder how in his brain Travis is compartmentalizing the cult circle that he found this burned child in the middle of. I mean, clearly he's responding to necessity, right? But he has got to be. I mean, what's his frame of reference here? How is he bookmarking this for future consideration? Well, and when you land, there go your knees. Rip. God. So yeah, my knees can barely take like a 3-foot fall now, and like landing like that without being super achy. And yeah, I suffer sympathy wins. I suffer sympathy pains. Oh snap! Alessa is putting out fires for me. Marcus Samael is coming through. Oh, give me 1 second here. Oh, let's get to a cutscene first. Oh, is that my way in? I don't think so. Hi, Toe. It's great to see you. This is Silent Hill Origins.
Safe now. Hey! Someone help her! Where is everyone?
And there is the Silent Hill pass out transition. Though it's a little strange. Obviously passes out. I mean, you assume he's passing out from smoke inhalation, but then like the standard Silent Hill sirens come in, and I mean, it could just easily have been like an ambulance coming in to pick him up. On the other hand, maybe this is what ambulances do with people from out of town in Silent Hill. Oh, this is the health bench. Never found anybody dead on it? I'm sure it'll bring them right back.
That girl. Did she make it? They would have taken her to the hospital.
Give me 1 second, I need to respond to somebody here.
Coon Street. I need to see if she's okay.
All right, Alchemilla Hospital, across from Andy's books. You know, I want to know what's up with the books. Oh, I've already taken one. All right, that's enough of that. It really wants you to know that the speed limit is 35. I wonder if I wonder if it's strange for games that are set in the United States for developers who are either EU or AU or JP based to have to sort of like write things in imperial measurements, like miles and things like that. There is the post office. I remember one thing that I did like about this. So one of the things that was really cool about the original Silent Hill was how much of the town and these little spaces they let you explore, and how much like a dungeon it felt. Where if you went down an alley or a nook or whatever, there was a little treat there for you, something to acknowledge that hey, you came here. And this game does that. It lets you explore around Silent Hill and enjoy it. Kind of post. I think it's supposed to be post no bills, but it says post on bills, and I think that's maybe the opposite message. Wait, what is the shop name? Just Cat. Oh my God, Just Cats. Hold on. I want to get. Oh, camera! I want to see Just Cats. Come on. Oh. Wish I could go into photo mode and just take out that light pole. Well, I'll be back, Just Cats. And if there's a dog in there, so help me God. Getting tired there, fella. It is interesting. I like that the fire escape here is sealed off. That's interesting because I mean, in the first game, this is where Harry left Alchemilla Hospital and went to the top of it and then fought like a giant moth. And they have it sealed off here with a sign that says pest control, and that's very clever, and I like that. Hi Fahad, it's great to see you. This is Silent Hill Origins, originally PSP game, ported to PS2. They really want you to know the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. I don't know, maybe they just wanted to really reinforce that you would be towed there, and they could only, there's like a city ordinance that says you can only pair mile per hour signs with towing. It's locked. Yeah, Viper, I agree. That's one of the things I think that makes this feel good as a Silent Hill title is there's an attention to detail that, okay, so I read an interview with the guy who was like one of the narrative leads on it. I forget his name, but he eventually went on to do the Her Story PC game, which is a detective game. I haven't played it myself, but it's well respected. And yeah, he questioned the need for this game because 2007, I think so. I don't remember exactly when it was released on the PSP. I do want to say it was around then, though. I wonder. Actually, you know what I can totally do? Hold on one second. I can totally introduce you to the real monster of Silent Hill. This is Skylight. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You want to dig up the carpet at the foot of my door so you can get in here and do what? Eat the wires. That's right. But you're not going to do that because you are right there. So yeah, here is the original. Let me see here. The nightmare began here. The origin of Silent Hill, the dark and demented place we know, can now be told in this prequel to the original game. I am seeing... What is our year of release? 2007. You are correct, Farhad. Fahad, excuse me. I misread your name. Yeah, you are correct, 2007. And I'm not sure when the port was, but I can be. I have that here too. 2008, so this followed shortly on its heels. Yes, I would like to think that she is drawn to the room by Just Cats, but alas, she is drawn by, I mean, she is Just Cats everywhere she goes. But yeah, he questioned the need for this game because, you know, Silent Hill 1 was an origin story, and it did include 30 records. It did include, you know, Cheryl's, Alessa's backstory. So they expanded it. You know, I myself feel like the cult story is the least or the less interesting arc in the Silent Hill background. It's, you know, unfortunately for me, one of the identifying things that they went with. But I do like this game. The second and third floors undergoing renovations. You will not be able to access those as the player, is how I'm parsing that. Restructuring the third floor, double capacity for inpatients, introduce cleaner, more modern facilities. Quality of care we provide to you, our valued patients, is of the utmost importance. Dr. Phillip. I was told never to trust a doctor who goes by his first name. Although that could be his last name. Fahad, how much of this had you played? All right, here we go. Hospital lobby. And thank you for the follow, Fahad. It's good to have you here. Let's see. Bleak, Travis. Though I wonder how much, how tonally dead that is for anybody who is not alive in an era with payphones. Every time I drink out of this water bottle on stream and I have to sort of counterbalance it, I think about Donald Trump's two-hand glass drink, and I think, oh, no, I need to go one-handed on this. But then I realize that one-handed on that is deeply unwieldy and would result in calamity should it actually spill water of that volume. It's a challenge that I face that is invisible that I choose to make visible to you, to appreciate what I do for you. We're getting music.
Hey, you a doctor? Can I help you? That fire last night. The girl who was burned. Is she here? A girl?
Man, Kaufman. So I'm thinking Kaufman has aged significantly in between the events of this game and Silent Hill 1. He looks like he's maybe mid-30s here, and in Silent Hill 1 he looks like maybe like 50. Um,
Sorry, perhaps some.
so assuming that Alessa is reborn as Cheryl here, and Cheryl is about 7 years old in Silent Hill 1, Kaufman would be, I don't know, I'm guessing he would be mid 40s. Uh, yeah, I think that the events, I guess when you have that role in a cult, it probably ages you faster than other medical duties. Hey Ark, it's good to see you. Thank you for your stream earlier. I enjoyed watching that rhythm game. So, all right, floors 2 and 3. Okay, floor 2. Here we go. And it's I mean, everybody who's going through here just has the expectation of, that fourth floor.
Yes?
That was such a great moment in the original game.
You okay?
Wow, they are not introducing Silent Hill with subtlety here. Yeah, one of the things about Travis is his propensity for violence, and that he'll punch things out in Silent Hill. So he's ready for this. I think, if I'm right. Oh. Oh yeah, that's something that I definitely did not like on the PSP. Did not feel good about having to do the rapid tap. Again, because I know that the actual game's hardware is behind it. Bold decision to leave the music blaring after I've killed the threat. Hospital. Preliminary diagnosis, 3rd-degree burns, patient is unconscious. Something has prevented damage spreading to the internal organs. It's magic! Tissue damage is limited to the epidermis and extremities of limbs. How is this possible? I'm guessing that was not written by Kaufman, who damn sure knew what was going on. Yes, this is the same developers as Shattered Memories. The narrative lead on this jumped on board while this was still in development and tried to salvage some of it, and then they went on to make Shattered Memories after this one. Yes, and the same guy, I believe, also did Her Story on the PC, which I have not played. Yeah. I was reading an interview with him the other day, which was surprisingly appropriate. Uh, oh man, is that? I'm trying to get a sense of what the shadows are doing here. So I see that shadow there, and I'm thinking, like, that's interesting. It's going through the mirror and also casting Alessa's shadow. I 100% would not at all be doing this if I were in his position, but again, that's the sort of...
You're the girl from the fire. How did you...
the horror story character going into the basement alone.
I'm seeing things. This ain't right.
I mean, knowing what I like about this and also what I like about Shattered Memories, I think that makes it worthwhile going into Her Story. So, I'm down for giving that a shot because it sounds like he was involved with the parts of the games that I liked. Plastic lungs. I mean, honestly, if you've come this far and gone through the mirror, you might as well just take whatever you can. Well, Fahad, you are in for a good stream series because every Tuesday I'm going to be playing this until we beat it. So, if you want to see it all the way through, you're in the right place. Yeah. Oh yes, this also has destructible objects. So, let's see. My sledgehammer is on the way out. Let's see. What am I looking at here? It is a bit hard to see here. I feel like if the textures in the light were just a little bit brighter, it would make the light dark contrast sharper and make me feel less like I'm floundering and more like I am just kind of following whatever little beacon of light the flashlight gives me. I'm getting some distortion here, which makes me think I've got something coming up. No? I guess not. Alright, portable TV, my favorite smashing thing. And yes, you can conk them with a portable TV. Hey Mode 7, welcome. Nah, I don't think you've missed too much, and it'll be in the archive for as long as that's up. I would like to be more conscientious about managing those, but I just haven't taken the time. I'm so busy with so many other things. I hope the arguing on the forum went well. It's been a while since since I did that in my day. Just not enough time to argue on forums anymore either. This heart of mine troubles me with its trembling. To still it, I put it on ice and locked it away. Remember the three beauties who cause it to pump are the key age before beauty. Age before beauty. Okay. Yeah, I have unfortunately lost the Twitch archives of many of my past recent streams, but I have them recorded locally for backing up. And I do have a YouTube channel. It's just unfortunately, I think YouTube must have grandfathered my old channel in. Because on that I can upload videos of whatever length and it's no problem. But when I try to upload videos onto the Deltahead Media channel, it cuts it off after like an hour, and I'm not sure what to do with it. Ooh, yeah, this is one of the things I like about these rooms and these camera angles, the sort of tilty camera perspectives. Worry not something, something. I have used the something to contain your power. No one will come to her aid. Something, one of the five, something. Hide them, protect them, something. I like to think that those are all the same word that's blanked out. What is this? Alright, well, I have a golden egg. Lucky quarter. Had this quarter since I was a kid, from when my parents died. It's kind of a lucky charm. Wow, I bet this surely won't play into the plot. 61. Hi, Nindiff. It's good to see you. We're playing Silent Hill Origins on PS2. It is larger than a hen's and has an oily shine to it. Larger than a hen's. Larger than a hen's. That's interesting. Hi, Peacher. It's good to see you. We are in Silent Hill and already dealing with nurses. This Silent Hill is Travis Grady's Punch-Out. Dutch angles? I'm not familiar with that term, Viper. Let's see, where am I going? Nurse Center. Oh, weird. They use the. I wonder, was this developed in Europe? Yeah, I'm looking at the UK spelling and also the fact that this is an NTSC US release, but at the start they give you the English and continental European languages as options, which is typical of a PAL release. So, yeah, how weird. I already came in here, that's right. Interesting. I'm pretty ignorant on film terms, so that one is new to me, but I will remember it. So I can be less ignorant. Always a valiant goal. I feel like the creepy music is getting louder. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite angles in the whole game. Whole series, rather. There we go. Now I'm the one stabbing someone with a scalpel. And frankly, I understand the nurses better because I see the appeal. Let's see. Oh! Yeah, this game also comes with the older Silent Hills How Healthy Am I Really? So okay, I'm back to green. Green is always good. It's just unclear as to what the rest of that means. Hey Roundley, it's good to see you. Where you dropped in, I think, 1 or 2 times when I was testing out the hardware for this, and this is finally legit. I swear, cross my heart, the actual Silent Hill Origin stream. All right, so I have what is clearly a Phoenix egg. Blind gets me the future. Wonder, do I use an egg here? I don't think the egg relates directly to this puzzle, but why not? Nope. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Even in this inferno, from out of the flames, I saw life born anew. Oh, I don't like this. I really hate Otherworld bathrooms so much. Oh, a liver being chilled in the tank of a toilet. I mean, at least Travis Grady is not immediately opting to reach in for whatever treasures may lie within the bowl. Unlike James Sunderland and Alex Shepard, the man's got standards. I do like, for somebody who clearly must have, by virtue of his profession, right, frequented many truck stop bathrooms, like that he has standards that like this bathroom and the Silent Hill Otherworld bathrooms are not living up to. Amy 31. Silent Hill bathroom moment gives. Well, I mean, yeah, it's. I think you also have to do that in Resident Evil 7. There's like a moment where you reach into a commode and you pull something out. I think it might be like a little monocle lens thing, and yeah, it is a reliably moment. Peachervine, I'm very sorry to hear that you had a bathroom like that once. Uh, they're uh, they're rough situations. The Knock roundlay? Which one was that? And Nindif, enjoy most about third-person survival stealth-style games. I like being able to see my character. I like the character design being part of the aesthetic of the environment. I feel like that goes a long way toward completing a scene. Otherwise, it just sort of feels like a canvas of a lot of empty rooms. Even though I myself am supposed to be there, it doesn't feel like it. And yeah, that's a big part of it. And stealth involves kind of a lot of static moments, a lot of planning, a lot of careful visualization. And yeah, I feel like with the right kind of game and the right palette and the right organization of objects, it's a very aesthetic feeling. And yeah, Viper, I agree. I do like the fact that he does have a. It's not. It's like it's really interesting. He's got this kind of like benign control over the other world, transferring. Like he can go back and forth. Like it's always there, and he just happens to be able to pass through it, like crossing the street. Oh! You're talking about like going into the bathroom and I think I remember that. I remember this. I remember the first part of it, and I think the second part was it. I mean, it's like the game is like how many years old? It's fine. And if it inspires someone to check out the game, then more power to it. Dynamic puzzles assuming guard routes. Yeah, I agree. I get a lot of the criticism of games where there are fixed guard control patterns, um, because especially if you're looking for a more organic experience. But I think that something that is missing from that assessment is that uh, there is a sort of analytic problem solving experience that comes from fixed guard patrol routes, especially if there's like a stealth component to it. Um, that I think is pleasurable in a way that like an organic dynamic environment doesn't afford. So what am I looking for here? Hey, Shantae. Well, this is yet another Silent Hill. This is one of the considered B grade Silent Hills that I happen to nonetheless like quite a bit. This is the staff lounge key. All right. So I think we're actually really near that. Man, someone hit the staff key lounge in the other world. That has got to be the most inconvenient thing if you are like maintenance, right? And need to like change the trash bag out of the side bin in a room, and then somebody leaves in the other world. Just hope you have Travis's abilities to go between them. Great rusty color aesthetic. Yes, if you want rust, Silent Hill is your game. There we go. There's the staff lounge. This is interesting. They don't let you use your flashlight here. I think they assume that it's light enough. But I'm telling you, it's not. Oh, and I'm going to need, just because my short-term memory is not that great, I'm going to need someone to remember that it did say Amy 31 on the stall. Because it looks like Huey 73 here, Huey 23, and that's also going to be important, so please help me. Oh wow, that's I like this angle. I like that it looks like somebody has recently put out a cigarette and is still smoking in the ashtray. I'm actually really curious to see if that angle repopulates, reoccurs, recurs. There we go. In fact, it does. Nice. Oh, I'll go over there and I'll look at it more closely in a second. Construction, renovations. Oh, back to the renovation subplot. Thrilling. Plumbing leak, substandard materials used. It forces to close off the third floor. Get what you pay for. 6 more months of work. Reducing capacity for the coming year. Cut spending in patient care. Consultancy fees by 50%. Thrilling. Doctors refrain. Patients encourage. Dying arms. Don't book them. Staff party. Worry not. Staff party. Budget locked. Annie's bar. 8 p.m. Friday. Alcohol, medicinal, of course, and food will be free. Arrive early to grab a trainee nurse. They go quick. Classy. Well, that was kind of a grumbly sound. Let's see, what am I looking at here? Exam room. And the exam room is there. Excellent. Lucy, 23. So, not whatever I said it was. Huey. Thought it was Huey. Right. Nope. That is not the exam room. Thank you, Mode 7. You are a lifesaver. There we go. Oh, I think I see my repository for all those plastic organs I've been collecting. And here is a wooden door barrier just waiting for Alex Shepard with his axe to come and clear it. I think Travis will be waiting quite a while on that. This has been to enter my office unless unaccompanied unless further notice. Dr. Kaufman. I like how he puts a period after his last name. I think I'm going to start doing that. Oh yeah, this is great. One of the things that I really do like in this, so there are the your typical two-handed weapons. It's got the one-handed weapons like the scalpel. There's the two-handed weapons like the sledgehammer. But then you have these like a TV, a typewriter that you can just kind of clonk somebody with. And I've got a couple of manual typewriters and would not want to be hit on the head with either one of them. So that's a very visceral feeling for me. Sarah 19. Plastic intestine. Plastic stomach. That's weird. They just put 2 of the puzzle items right side by side. Apparently in the room that I'm going to be using to solve them. Okay. Is this a test for anatomy? I mean, I kind of know generally where some of these parts go, but liver and, what is this? Liver and cashew, I'm really not sure where those in in the human body. Okay, there we go. So the cashew goes behind the... Oh, I need a heart. Random number of letters. That's really cool. Yeah, I think that effects like that are smart and feel good to encounter. Okay, I think I've got everything that I need to tackle whatever that puzzle was. Now I'm going to go back to the other world and clock something with this typewriter. I'm going to show them the power of what I think Travis calls road literacy. Because he is a Rhodes Scholar. Little interstate humor there for you. Okay, so that puzzle is over here. Oh wait, that probably requires eyes. Alright. I can try the men's bathroom and also the other stairs on the other side. Before giving up. Well, I don't know if it's giving up so much as it is exploring elsewhere. Okay, cool. Now time to give up. Travis is looking at something. What do you got there, buddy? Energy drink. Oh, that's really cool. I like how his item grab posture is actually changes according to the object that he's holding. So right there, which is like what you would do with something heavy, is you'd kind of crouch down with your legs and grab it. I mean, you don't have like a hand grabbing animation, but he does use his lower back and his legs to get it. That's cool. That's a nice detail. Ooh, creepy breathing sound effects. Or maybe it's ventilator sound effects. Either way, I'm not a fan of it. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is where the number puzzle is. Okay. So, what was the clue? All right. Where do I have my notes? There we go. Three beauties. All right, age before beauty, so probably the ages from oldest to youngest. So I think the other one was 18, so 31, 23, 18. One thing that is strange, again with the weird delay when you press the square button to run, is kind of how sluggish the cursor control is here. Like, I don't know if you can see, like that is a very slow response. Did that do it? I heard a click. Might have been a failure click. Try it again. 31, 23. $18? No, that's not it. Okay. So The only possibility that I can think of that I'm overlooking is that it was not, in fact, 18. Oh, right. Derp. That it was something else. If this isn't it, it definitely was something other than 18. Yep. I'm misremembering a number. So, knew it would happen. Alright. Go back, take a look at that thing. Ooh, a drip stand. At this point, like, Travis's vice isn't violence, it's kleptomania. Unfortunately, GPT-2 for writer's block? I'm not familiar with what that is. What? Oh, right, another staircase. I'm very glad the enemy spawns in this appear to be attached to triggers from like solving puzzles and entering specific rooms rather than like timed respawns, because it's very frustrating with a survival horror game where enemies spawn based on how long you're taking. It can just be like a real resource hog. An AI. Interesting. One of the things that I will do is not use machine-generated stuff, but sometimes there are word randomizers. Let's see. 19, that's it. There we go. So 31, 23, 19. There are word randomizers, and sometimes having those combinations thrown out can be evocative. And it's not really, I don't think it's really out of step with a lot of really creative writing practice since the Surrealist movement and its earlier occult origins in the, I want to say, late 1800s, because a lot of it involved practices that were previously associated with divination, automatic writing. Oh, there was something on the wall there. Automatic writing being one of them, and a lot of it's just like doing quick associative responses to random groupings of words, and trusting that. Is there something you're looking at here? And trusting that for the Surrealists, the unconscious mind, for divination, something else was guiding the process. So I feel like that has a place in an organic place and in ways you can respond to writing prompts. All right. Yep. A drill bot, you say? I can kind of, I don't know, man. Drill is a weird thing for that, because I can see drill style being like learnable in a sense, and therefore subject to that kind of emulation. At the same time, there's something just so organically weird about what drill does that I wonder if that can be adequately captured just by recognizing patterns. There we go. Interesting. Plastic heart. There we go. Oh God, what is going to show up in the hallway now? There it is. I got my TV. Oh God! Right outside. Thank you, game. Wait, where's my TV? Wow! Jesus, Travis! It's like chuck the TV right in its face. Oh, that's amazing. I guess bravo on the old bar fight ultra violence there, buddy. I mean, I was expecting something that like left it in his hands, but he just really just chucked it, went for it. Oh, interesting. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. So, yeah, as much amusement as we got out of Travis chucking that thing, it turns out that actually is a mechanic. So, if you hold down the attacked button, then he'll ready whatever weapon he's got, and it'll sort of charge up. And if you have an item that's like a two-hander, then he throws it. Having trouble with your anatomy class? Intestines, liver, heart, lungs. Liver. Yeah, the liver. Inside Stevie, Little Henry works. That is such a creepy Silent Hill mnemonic. Jesus, Kaufman. You're right. I think that Travis is a man of analog preference, is what I'm going to say. Is this something? But I'm curious to see what kind of... Again, I have no idea what that means with my status. I remember one of the things that you could get on Silent Hill 3 on a New Game Plus was you would just get like just a health bar for Heather, and that was the most welcome thing. Excuse me, so I can know how I'm doing. All right. Ugh, Jesus Christ. And now there's music. And I like this situation even less now. Oh! There was that door in the other world that was about something opening eyes. So now I imagine that I open those eyes, then that door is going to be open. Unfortunately, I don't have a CRT left. Actually, hold on a second. I don't know how close I am to death. I'm going to go save my game real fast. You plugged some of my comments into GPT-2. Alright, this is what we got. Bravo on the old bar fight ultraviolence, buddy. You're about to meet up with your favorite radio host while your mother is at work. Or you are dead in a horrific way. There are many ways to die in this game. Actually, I mean, as far as I know, I could have said those words in that same order, but I definitely said all of those words. And that is the level of linear coherence that I like to call my brand. So, thank you. Thank you, Viper, for also choosing that same word. Pardon. Saving game, right. Nope. Hello? No, I don't want to do that down there. There we go. Overall, one of the things I am noticing about this port, even on the save screen right here, there is just in general a sluggishness to input and response. Actually, Viper, I'm really curious to know your input on this. Something I'm noticing that seems to be a convention in terms of when I'm presented with one or more options on the screen, well, two options at least, um, is usually cancel, or the negative backing out option is the default one, and I have to choose the confirmation. And I'm kind of used to games being the other way around, where confirm is the baseline. Is that something that that EU games or PAL games do? I could be drawing a completely false connection there, but I'm curious. That is a localized, that might be like a localization convention that I'm not familiar with. Um, but now that I'm noticing how many like EU sort of like elements are sort of in this game's UI and its portrayal, it's kind of coming to mind. Mo7, thank you for that Drillbot link. I am going to check that out. I am a drill fan. In particular, oh, for God's sake, come on. That is like the third time you have tried to jump scare me with a nurse right outside the door. And I feel at this point you are simply overplaying your hand. Interesting. Wow. Travis? I mean, I guess when you live your life driving a truck that hauls a lot of equipment, you just gradually take that into your general being and can do the same thing yourself. Son of a bitch. I was supposed to grab the eyes. Alright, let's go back through the mirror again. So while it does make sense that I would grab the eyes and that that would then go into these slots, something that I think would be even creepier is if I performed this puzzle here, did not take anything, the eyes just opened, and then when I went to the other world, to that door, the eyes on the door were also open. So like this had some sort of resonance up there without my having to do that directly. Richard Doyle, when he says son of a bitch, I'm not familiar. I'm not. The only son of a bitch that comes to my mind when I hear that phrase is Josh Keaton's as young Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 3 during the motorcycle chase when Snake and Eva are driving away and they're going through the burning Shagohod chamber, and a lot of the just everything is falling down, everything's going to hell, and they race on through, and Ocelot gets like stymied by something. He goes, "Son of a bitch!" And it is the best like, delivery of that phrase ever in the English language. Oh yeah, yeah, the Fury. He does a good one too, but it's his is all right. So so this is how I'm gonna rank those. The Richard Doyle son of a bitch is stubbing your toe the first time that day. The Ocelot son of a bitch is stubbing your same toe on the same thing for the 5th time, because at that point it hurts and it's also your fault more so. Oh yeah, he did Big Boss. Yeah, Big Boss. I don't know what region I can lay claim to that would use that, but that pronunciation. Just want to take a look at these eyes here. Kind of looks like a creepy Silent Hill version of a Mother 3 enemy. Travis's power pose. You're right. Here we go. This is a man who is ready. This is a man who is ready and scared. Oh, right, we need to do this. Accurate depiction of young ocelot as a whole. Yeah. Oh, come on. I have a feeling that I'm taking damage whenever that happens, but to a degree I don't quite understand. Okay. Let's... Come on, we got it. Oh, no, 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 no! Run, buddy! Fella, I need you to give me a toaster here. Oh man, if they attack you when you're holding a two-handed item, then you drop it? Oh, that's bogus. Come on, give me that kill animation, friend. Travis, I know you have it in you. Ah, there we go. Good, a CRT. Just... Okay, good. Good, I guess that did it. Travis, do the thing, dude! There you go, jeez. Yeah, I don't know what magic angle I need to approach that from to get that to pull off, but yeesh, that was nasty. Portable TVs come with batteries. No, they did not. For the most part, that I can recall, I think you would have to have like some significant battery powers. Like I'm remembering like rows of D batteries just to power like a radio. Um, Yeah, I think Travis would be I think a good analog for Travis would be David from the Outbreak games, who could fashion, you know, improvised weapons out of things. Oh, this is the main foyer. Oh yeah, Viper, the little handheld ones. You mean the ones that are kind of like pocket radio size that had like a screen that's like this big? Oh, hey, it's a hole that Henry left behind. Henry. Alex. Cut open, her eyes are missing. What kind of monster could have done this? Oh, it implies that it might be me. Because I manipulated the puzzle. And as well, that gaping chest wound looks a lot like this thing here. If the point of entry were covered with cloth for surgery. So that's gross. Oh yeah, the GameCube had a handle. One of the things, so funny story about that. I was when the GameCube was coming out. When the GameCube was like around the time Remake came out. I was living in a camper trailer in a forest for reasons, and I would walk from the trailer from the camper to the nearest lodge. It was a summer campgrounds. And so that was the place with the electricity and the running water and the food. And it was about a 15-minute walk. And in the middle of the night in Florida, outside Tampa, like there are a lot of things that you can run into at night, nature-wise, that are not super great. So one of the things that gave me a lot of confidence to do that was the fact that I was carrying my GameCube, and the GameCube had a handle. And if something, you know, that I didn't want to deal with was there, I had that on hand as a weapon. Fortunately, the only thing that I ever ran into was an armadillo who was just as scared of me as I was of him. It is in fact true. He jumped straight up and then ran away, and it scared the hell out of me. And I also realized then that given panic at being accosted by an animal in pitch dark in the middle of the night, no amount of handle on your GameCube is going to help you. Hold on a second. Oh no! No! Oh, come on, buddy. Train me to use one button, now you're using another. Come on, Travis, knock him out. Pretty sure you fought this guy at that truck stop in Wichita. Oh, thank God. Ooh, Flauros. Pardon me. Catching up. Explanation for why I was doing this and driving off the map. Yeah, I alluded to that at the time. It was trying things out with my life because I was young. Takes loss in fact, armadillo is an indestructible animal. Yeah, but they're also very like, I mean, they're indestructible, but I think one of the main reasons why armadillos die, like you see them as roadkill, is that they get spooked and they jump. And when a car is driving or a truck is driving, if it's got sufficient lift, even if it would normally just like pass over the armadillo, it'll get spooked and jump up into the bottom of the truck. And I remember the thing jumping. I mean, it moved at a height that I perceived being closer to my head than the ground. So, included a cube as a weapon in Remake. I agree completely. They did in fact include a GameCube as a lock item that you had to plug the MO discs into in order to free your captured partner, whether that be Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. So that was a nice touch. But yes, I think that a GameCube indestructible, gold-plated melee item should be in every game. It should be the equivalent of the gold turkey in Streets of Rage 4. QTE's failing. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like, when you get grabbed by an enemy, I know it's like a button mashing thing. I don't consider like the button mashing to be a super fun skill-based thing, so I'm kind of fine just defaulting to whatever the button is I've been trained to. Built to last and a melee weapon. It's true.
What is this?
Oh, that's not a Flauros.
You. What was that thing?
Oh, Travis, if you want to converse with Alessa, you have to form your request in the form of an answer. It's like reverse Jeopardy.
Are you okay? Sorry, did I stir you?
Though, for some reason, Kaufman appears to have aged significantly between this game and Silent Hill 1, but this doesn't even look like Lisa.
Well,
Actually, I bet I know what's happened. I bet that with the PSP technology, they finally had the ability to like give Lisa like an actual face. So they did, instead of the kind of smear that it had to be for the PS1.
a little off all day. I was in a fire last night. I think it boiled my brain a little.
The fire in the business district? How awful. I heard about that. No one knows how it got started. And that poor girl.
Is Lisa going to talk about the fact that there's a save point behind her? I feel that she should talk about the fact that there's a save point behind her.
She died?
Yes. Sorry. Did you know her?
No. But never mind.
Well,
I'm also trying to figure out exactly how that hat is working with her hair.
wants to meet me over at Cedar Grove Sanitarium. He'll be mad if I'm late. Maybe see you around? Take it easy, Travis.
You too, Lisa.
Don't play with matches. That's a great propaganda point to put at the entry to a hospital. Actually, oh my God, that's actually really dark. Given the fact that, you know, you know, Alessa being our patient zero is a massive burn victim. So again, the signage in this game is very tongue-in-cheek on point. N64 controller, the GameCube, and you would be indestructible. That is true because yeah, I think of the N64 controller as something like the Swiss pocket knife of all possible buttons and joystick combinations, and it would certainly have whatever you would need on hand. Kiddo. The cat is super eager. Someone locked the door. Cat is super ego. Super ego. Cat is super ego. Yeah. Cat is super eager to get in. Likely in response to that Just Cat storefront, as Viper pointed out. This is one of the cool things that Silent Hill 1 did that it could do based off the way that its other world worked, is like using the map to tell the story of the disorientation. That once you go through, you know, the fog version of Silent Hill and you try all the doors and your map's marked up, then you go through the other world version and it's got the map marked up there too. But then once you wake up from all of it and your map is just clean as though you've done nothing. Like, that's brilliant. That is so smart. Bravo, guys. And also that let's see, are these doors just locked, or are the locks jammed? It's locked. Locked. Yeah. So it's like you have entered into a version of reality that there are no broken locks, although something blocking the door is a little odd. Well, I could leave through there. Anyway, I think it's a great storytelling technique. Mentioning the save point in game, very Kojima. Yes. Yeah. That is true. That is something Kojima would do. So wait, what am I missing here? Oh wow, I'm not even marking my map. Oh wait, there's a... Oh. There we go. The environment is self-demanding that you get out. It's like, hey, buddy, I just had a real big otherworld moment. It's hard to explain. I'd appreciate it if you should leave and give me a moment. That's imposing. Also, apparently there's a front to Alchemilla Hospital. I always assumed that Harry was going in through the front. Oh, Travis, don't get tired. I'm sure you smoke like 5 packs a day, but please don't show any ill effects from that when you are my player character. Wow, the road into Alchemilla Hospital is pretty inviting, with all that Depression era brick and you know. Oh my God, surplus Normandy barbed wire. So how am I doing on health here? Oh, I don't know. That's right. At least I'm not playing as Alan Wake. I actually haven't played that game yet, despite um, friend recommending it. Oh wow, actually trucking it this time. I don't really have a gun, and I would like them to go away. Is this a thing? It is, in fact, a thing. Travis, pick up the thing. Thank you. Okay. So she said she's going to the other hospital, but kind of lost here what my goal is. Oh, Alan has next to no stamina. That does sound like a familiar topic of conversation, yes. Oh, buddy, is this the diner where Harry was, No, it is not. Hold on one second, I got a cat trying to pry up my Ethernet cable. Wants to say hello again. Hello, Squirm Factory. This is where all the squirms in the state of Washington State come from, right here. Sole provider. She is a good cat. She is. She is beloved. And it's very lucky that she is. Because she sometimes seems to beckon her own destruction. Oh my god, so annoying. But that is, in fact, why I chose her. Because I like a cat with spirit. Gotta say, despite the streets now being inexplicably filled with these otherworld things, I seem to be able to explore relatively unharassed. All right, hammer. So what I pulled away from Lisa's conversation was that she was going to another hospital, and I am typically used to hearing those things as cues for where I am supposed to go next, but I do not see a hospital on my map, so we're just walking around Silent Hill. Because of this guy's ability to go between worlds? Well, I mean, possibly. They might just recognize him as one of their own, right? Is this? Oh, it's locked. However, based on the unique camera angle and the dynamic looks like handles on the doors, I'm guessing this is a key location at some point. So, how does it show up on my map? Yep. Shows up as a locked door on my map. Oh boy. Viper? We're getting those Dutch angles here. I would like to kill this thing so I can appreciate them. Yeah, they finally got back to work. Oh wow! So my reward is a health drink. I mean, it's better than nothing. And clearly I need it. Wow, that took me down some. But that is the end of that. So, though, I mean, Viper, this gets back to what we were discussing at the top of the stream. This is it is out of all the quote unquote returns to Silent Hill, the fact that this does return you to the town in a way that you can explore, similar to the way that Harry could, is very refreshing. I know you technically return to it in character as Heather in Silent Hill 3. And as Alex in Silent Hill Homecoming, but so you can't change weapons while you're running, and that is kind of obnoxious. Oh wow, that thing lasted a whole... for God's sake. The combat in this is pretty frustrating. Like, I think that stick lasted 2 hits and did nothing. It is a little frustrating that combat and running share a... oh wait, this is the hospital, isn't it? This is the damn hospital. That combat and running share a stamina meter. Yeah, Rondelay, go ahead and link something. Not close enough. Thank you. Gardner's fishing and tackle. Gotta admit, half the reason I was fighting that thing was so I could get a closer look at that, and it turned out it was not impressive at all. Yeah, Viper. Yeah, that's what I felt it was for Silent Hill 3 and Homecoming when Heather and Alex come by. See, I think the camera angle there forces you to kind of look in this direction across this fence. I'm not sure what it is trying to imply by that. Rational Games game design. Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to take a look at that. Thank you for linking it. I am interested to know what that entails. And as combat goes, yeah, you can move around while you are attacking, and that is good. That is a welcome bit of mobility. I just wish that you could change weapons while running, because you kind of need to. All right. So, Town Hall. Is over here. And that is definitely a place that might be significant. Oh wait, I was already here. Boarded up. Okay. Butchers. That seems like what I want. Actually, huh. I'm actually wondering if the pink buildings are the ones that you can enter, and if that's the coding here. Gotta say, coming off of the way that Silent Hill was presented in Silent Hill Homecoming, and also the way it's showing up here, I do like it when it appears to just be like abandoned in the sense of like everybody just got out of town immediately with no explanation, as opposed to people boarded things up and left. Fresh smoked sausage. Pardon. Yes, I agree. The necessity for stomp is frustrating because it, especially, it's. I don't know if it just doesn't activate when you have another enemy nearby, but actually, I don't know if I'm going to do that on that file. I'm going to stagger my saves here. Um, because if there's like another enemy nearby, it doesn't seem to trigger, which is frustrating because the way that you want to deal with multiple enemies is you want to get one off the board so you can take care of the other more easily. So I'm just not sure what. I'm not sure if that's like a deliberate notion of the strategy or if there's something I am not getting. Oh, I saw a head bob and would like to know what that is about. Ooh, health drink. Well, on the one hand, it isn't a pile of exposed raw meat. On the other hand, the twist top's only been halfway opened. Consider this a sale. Oh, here we go. Here's our pyramid head. Similar to the James introduction, inexplicably slaying another enemy and then wandering off. Hi, Katie. It's good to see you. This is Silent Hill Origins, the PSP game ported to the PS2. Regarded as one of the B-rank Silent Hills, but I like it. Cut almost in half. I like how he qualifies that. Man for precision. I think the butcher is supposed to be I think the butcher is supposed to be like a manifestation of Travis's violent inclinations. And that is one of the things about this game as a Silent Hill game that I do like, is that they do take the combat and the way that they try to renovate that with the destructible items, with the ability to finally fight with your fists. They do tie that into his character development. I think that is smart in a very uniquely Silent Hill way. I would say, yeah, I would say unimpressed, Viper. It is interesting that I'm getting music now. No, I don't think. I think you would be hard pressed to find another Silent Hill protagonist as unimpressible as Henry Townsend. Oh God, what? Oh, come on now. Alright, now. What was that business about? She's asleep now. I'm guessing that is in reference to Alessa, with her power having been made dormant and about to manifest as Cheryl. It does just keep happening. All right. Let's rest up there, Travis. So... Oh, there we go, Cedar Grove Sanitarium. I, for some reason, missed that when I was looking at my map trying to orient earlier. It does seem like a weird flow to go straight from hospital to sanitarium. Sanitarium is usually kind of like a late mid-game Silent Hill stop. Like I'm thinking like Silent Hill 2 as a queue, and that's also kind of where Alchemilla Hospital shows up in Silent Hill 1. So yeah, some ooh crate. Again, some kind of strange combinations of that which we expect from Silent Hill. Oh, buddy, you see me. I would like for you not to do that, please. The Viper, I think that Travis being unimpressed or unfazed might just, you know, as a character trait, fit into the fact that he doesn't seem to be running away from these things with any special urgency. Kind of a jog. Oh, I hear them. I want to go into the sanitarium, but I want to run away from these things and investigate what's at the end of this corridor first. I mean corridor in a gameplay sense, not literally. GVPW. Yeah. I wonder what GVPW stands for. Well, one of the things that we're going to learn about Travis is that he has his share of trauma that Silent Hill is happy to dramatize and bring to the fore. And I think that probably gives him just that little bit of a 1,000-yard stare on the spiritual level that lets him acclimate pretty well to the horrors going on around him. And this is an interesting forced camera angle. I do wish the enemies would stop so I could appreciate it. Ugh. Okay, I get it. Sanitarium, straitjacket enemies. There we go. No, don't get tired. I just want to see some things, man. Alright. There we go. I hope to God this is... Oh, it's a window. Just want a front door. Give me a front door. Thank God it's a front door. Fallout New Vegas Dead Money? No, I haven't played that. I do have Fallout New Vegas, but I haven't played any of the expansions on it. Oh, I want to read that book so badly. I It's all the way over there. What am I looking at here with that sign? Nothing of interest on the counter. Buddy, that is your opinion. I want to read that book. What a strange vending machine. Oh wow, yeah, this is definitely vintage. That is a cigarette dispensing machine. Man, I've seen one of those in forever. I've got to say, for not being able to control the camera with the right stick, there is something that is very creepy and unsettling about only being able to see the environment at the flashlight level like this, especially with these murals. I really want to see what the top of those murals look like, but I can't. And that is a very unsettling feeling. Well, I have Dead Money, Male Wing. I have Dead Money and should play it. I think I've got that on the Fallout for PS3. Busted Cigarette Machine. I've got to say, I do not like having the camera looking at me when I enter into a room. It is the last information that I need, and also definitely not what my character's looking at, which I would like to see as well. Is this a creepy doll in a wheelchair? That, in fact, is a creepy doll. I don't know if it's a wheelchair, but it's a restraining chair. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I know that in the Waffle Houses in South Carolina, cigarette machines are still around well into the late 90s. So yeah, definitely. Oh, this is a safe. Can I grab? Oh, the filing cabinet. All right. Conk some enemies with a filing cabinet. Well, I've got Travis's eye of interest on the doll here. I also have his eye of interest on something else over here. Okay. There we go. That doll is even creepier for being lower resolution because it kind of looks like the doll is wearing a mask, and a mask on a doll that does not need a mask is its own kind of creepy. Is something going to attack me right outside the door? Surprisingly, no. I don't have the map of this place, do I? Nope, I do not. It does look like it's painted onto the chair from that angle. I felt like it was its own independent object, but I could be wrong. Oh, there we go. There's my map. Jesus, this place is huge. You know, this is kind of an interesting mileage thing that they're able to get out of these posters. So all these posters and things, it looks like they're using the same visual on them, but because I can't like look at them with a flashlight, they don't really have a chance to get old, right? Because I can't see them. 1960, Mrs. Blank Blank, age 34, Dr. Harris. Patient continues to harbor strong fantasies and violent persecution complex. Her moods can swing from calm to violent aggression in a short time, which has led to her being moved to the seclusion wing. She becomes particularly violent during the occasional visits from her husband, demanding that she be allowed to see her child. If I'm remembering correctly, this is Travis's mom. We have taken the precautionary step of adding epilenium to Mrs. Blank medication to prevent her violent outbursts. I don't like having to sedate patients, but when she is aggressive, Blank is as much of a danger to herself as to her visiting husband and the staff. It is interesting to think of those blanks as not, not redactions from the typist or the orderly, but as willful omissions in Travis's mind, because he can't face the truth in Silent Hill. Actually, not being able to face the truth is probably the worst skill you can bring to Silent Hill. Okay. Let's try. Wait, is this? Yes. Okay, let's see with the dining hall. Okay. Probably I need to go through the East Solarium to get there, but I want to explore the patient belongings first. Oh, what is this? Our magpies have been at it again. Magpies here is a euphemism for crows. This time they swallow the damn keys for archives in the basement. Don't worry, Gary has taken Mr. Magpie to the TB ward, and I'm taking Mrs. Magpie to hydrotherapy. We'll make them spit the keys out. Wow. There's so much wrong with that. This job would be great if it weren't for the patients. Clem. I mean, it's just kind of, it is telling this in a very old school sanatorium kind of way to have what is effectively torture of your patients who have done something to self-harm themselves, and then kind of end it with, I hate Mondays. So they nailed the tone right. Let's see, I got some eye contact here. That probably means there's a door that needs to open. That's our Clem. Right, cue laugh track. Is there anything in this wheelchair that I should have looked at? Wheelchair. Never need to use one of these myself. Well, Travis Grady, perfectly fine. Oh yeah, apparently Dahlia, before she got into like the giant neckties from Silent Hill 1, she was like 90s before the 90s.
That was my house, Ernie. My daughter, Alessa. You were the one who saved her.
Yeah, she was your daughter? Why did you leave her? Why did no one help? You all left that girl to burn.
So we did. The world is stranger than you think.
You're crazy. What happened to her? Lisa said she was dead.
Alessa is with those who care for her. Do not trust her, Travis. She does not know what she is doing.
How do you know my name? Hey, answer me. They're all crazy.
I'm guessing that Dahlia is firmly on her way to the other world right now. So, staircase, storage, laundry. Kind of looking for a save point here. What does that say? PTSD, fact or fiction? Why would you put that? Why would you put that in a mental hospital? That's a terrible thing to have there. I don't have time to read all of these. I do like this notion from Travis that he sees any volume of anything and assumes that the only way to begin to interact with it is to completely consume it. So if I can't read all newspapers, I will not read one. God, thank God this man's time was done by the time the internet showed up, right? Asthma, real or rumor? Great card player, likely. Well, it's true. No, he would definitely be very good at what was it? What was the game where you like go through every card in the deck? War? Was it? Only folds or goes all in. I wish I could say that didn't resonate with my own card playing strategies. On a strategic spectrum, from reckless bad appearing brave to absolute coward non-participation. Nothing in between. Giving Travis personality through the descriptive text? Yes, I agree. Again, it's the guy who kind of jumped in on the narrative on this did Shattered Memories, and for any of the problems that I had with the execution on that, I do think that the core concept is sound, and also did Her Story, which I actually really want to play after this. There's our save point. So yeah, now the writing on it is solid. It's really weird that I've got some artifacting going on at the top there. So there we go. No, you can I mean, honestly, if you play like Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2, you'll have a good foundation for what the series does well and then later tries to do well again, but doesn't always succeed. But let's see, what time am I at here? What time am I at? It's 9:32. I think I need to head off and grab some dinner. So thank you everybody for coming out. We're going to do part 2 of this on Tuesday next week at, again, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be doing part 2 of Resident Evil Dead Aim, the GunCon 2 light gun game. So yeah, come by then, and if you do the heart thing and the follow, then you'll get a notification when that goes live. So thanks for coming out, Mode 7, Viper, Roundelay, Peacher, Fahad, Katie, Shantae, and everyone else who I can't scroll back to find. Thanks for coming out. Have a good night. Oh. I scroll because I care.